And this last book we'll talk about is Night Thrasher #1. I was kind of looking forward to this. I don't really have a background with Night Thrasher, but it seemed like, okay, it's a cool thing. Maybe we'll, I'll kind of see a character that I don't know about. I might end up liking. I always like that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this book is. Night Thrasher #1, Part 1 Remix. Don't call it a comeback. It's got like so many names here. And there is that play of songs involved. One coming up later that I really do like. But it's written by Jay Holtham. I'm not very familiar with Jay. And that's Jay, period. He's a mystery man over here, right? I'm Jay Werner. But you end up where he was a writer on some television shows, Cloak and Dagger, the Jessica Jones, but also Supergirl.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say something else, but yes, Supergirl. So is coming over to comics. Did a bunch of Infinity comics. It was mostly the Spider-Man stuff, Infinity comic deal. So not really, a lot of a resume yet, but I was hoping, again, these things can kind of be like, all right, we need some good writers. We need some things. I don't think that's what we're getting here. But we also have art by Nelson Daniel. Okay. Colors by Matt Miller, letters by VC's Travis Lanham. It's one of those things in this where I think that the problem is, and this is something that happens a lot with people that especially come from live action things. It's a thing, and I'm trying to explain it in this way of when you write a script, you do count on the actor really selling it for you. You could have a thing, if you have Robert Downey Jr. in a scene, he could just be at a desk and people will be captivated at points.
Absolutely. He's doing a lot of the work.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things that I just saw. Really. Yeah. I just saw, I forget what it is. That Ford versus Ferrari, Christian Bale. I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I watched a clip of that. That's just Christian Bale talking nonsense for me because it's, and you're captivated because he's so good. So you're like, oh my God, and sells everything. And you don't have that on the page, though. And I think there is a jump problem there from the live action to this. And I feel like this is one of those issues that it's having the problem because you're going to have a lot of talking heads. They're going to be saying things that if you're not familiar with a lot of Night Thrasher / New Warriors, you're not really going to know what is the importance of it, but it's kind of boring as it's told. And because of that, the art really doesn't have a lot to do in this whole play. The art at points just becomes kind of like weird background noise almost because it just is very wordy, very exposition heavy, and I don't think it plays out very well.
It's not a great cold open for a comic book, but it would work in a movie or a TV series for sure.
Yeah, I think that if you went in,
it would get over pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it would be, this whole thing would go quick, and in that, then you could work in some flashbacks, but you would end up seeing the reactions even from the characters, and you kind of play off that, which you don't get on the page a lot of times because a lot of stuff is thrown at you. You end up having a character, Syl, who is Silhouette from the New World. Never really say that. There's a lot of steps here that you want to have like an editor's note or something where, okay, if I want to know more about this, maybe that's where I could go. But it feels like Jay, period, it thinks that everybody's on the same page. That's the other thing that I get in this one is that he thinks as he's writing that everybody knows exactly what he's telling and has read everything that you need to read to get here. And how I explained it to you, whether or not you like Night Thrasher, whether or not you think Night Thrasher's big, whatever, the stuff that you're pointing out may not be known by a lot of people. And the kind of the proof in the pudding is there hasn't been a lot of Night Thrasher. Like if he's that big, you got to keep that in mind. And I don't think that you have a really good first issue to get me excited for Night Thrasher and why this would mean something in the here and now. At points, it almost feels like he's trying to give you background information, but he's doing it poorly. And then at the end, I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Also, there's a flash mob of what appears to be kids, but the one guy has a beard and it threw us off.
Yes,
we'll get to that in a minute because you end up where here. It's so weird. This whole deal, you end up having Dwayne Taylor. He comes back to not even comes back to the U.S. He flies from L.A. back to New York, and he's going to be there for a funeral. And it's Syl's father, Andrew Cord. She's upset about it. He's like, hey, I'm back in town. She's mad because he left, and also he was dead. He ends up saying he's at the gravesite. I was dead, and I came back, but you're not going to explain that and then you just get characters thrown at you, but they're characters that everybody is involved, but you're not getting the emotion from me because I don't know who they are. And this is one of those where we're reviewing this issue. I'll admit to everyone here, I'm not familiar with the character. I'm not familiar with the other characters involved, so it leaves me behind completely, and I am not going to continue here. I'm going to review this and my review is fully me as somebody who's not familiar with this. Is this good as a jumping on point to get involved with the characters in this? And I say no. I say a big no, and I think that's a misplay. I think it's a huge misplay. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with Night Thrasher in that he was a guest in a Spider-Man comic book 25 years ago. I don't know him otherwise, and that's the best way to interact with Night Thrashers, through a different book or in a team book called New Warrior.
Yeah, exactly. And so, again,
not by himself.
If you ended up having this say, hey, I mean, this really feels like if you don't know Night Thrasher going in, you're going to be left behind because it involves the New Warriors. It involves Syl. It involves this foundation that is never introduced. It's presented to you as if it's been which it has. But to be this new starting on point, I think it's a really big fail. I really do. And so when you get to what the story is, that you can kind of say, okay, I'm confused about these other things. Maybe that'll work out, but let's get the main gist of the issue. And that should be something that everybody can, play along and dance along to. And what it involves is a gang of what I thought were kids. Might be, I don't want to get anybody out. There might be some little people here. I don't know. This one guy, these kids or whatever, they're like 3 foot tall at points, but the one has like a goatee.
3.5.
Yeah, like 3.5 feet. The guy has a goatee like he was, some bass player in Pearl Jam. I don't know. And they're all in these, big black hoodies, and they're hanging around at one point after you get this idea that Dwayne is going to shut down his foundation after introducing us to these characters barely. Father Michael, Walter, Guy ends up where, hey, I'm going to shut it down, but I don't know what that really means. I'm here to find that out, and it just kind of gets shoved aside, and then he's like, I'm getting out of here. You guys clock out. Things are over. He walks outside, and he's met by the city councilman, Ezra Akolo. Is like, hey, can I speak to you about your foundation, the Taylor Foundation? Sorry, shutting it down. Well, let me talk about it. Then we go up to a department store where kids, and all of a sudden it's smash and grab. They're grabbing everything. They loot the whole place.
I mean, grabbing a bunch of stuff. There's no rhyme or
They're
reason
grabbing
to it.
cans, bottles and cans. Clap your hands. They're grabbing pants, which they better get small. They're small. Then one kid who is the one that looks like he might actually be from like 1994 Seattle. He's starting to grab a bunch of jewelry and suddenly has a crowbar. He's smashing things. The worst part of this is you have a bunch of security guards, and these jerks cannot chase down little kids that are just running away. These kids go away. They rob the whole place. The biggest action that Night Thrasher is going to have in this up to this point, because there's a herd of kids coming there. Like you have to get out of the way. Oh, no.
Maybe try to stop them, because you won't even feel it if they run into you.
So they all run away. And you have the one scruff guy. He comes in, still only looks like he's about 4 foot tall. He comes in and starts fighting Dwayne, Night Thrasher. So you want to show your character can kick some butt.
He's Jean-Claude Van Damme all of a sudden, this guy.
He can't even, it's Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio versus Kane? I mean, seriously. But then Rey Mysterio's doing all the crazy twisting and turning. You have that going on, but he gets away. And you end up having Night Thrasher, Dwayne, say, I recognize that fighting style. Here's where I want to point out, though. You get another character. Captain Armez comes in. The councilman, and this is where it drives me nuts. He says, they're kids. These new stores, the co-ops and high-rises, a lot of people have been displaced. It's hard, and no one is really getting hurt. These kids just stole everything from that store. They ended up stealing jewelry. They ended up there with a crowbar, and this jerk-off is just saying, this drives me nuts. Oh, no harm, no foul. No. I'm surprised he didn't go the more thing of, oh, that's all insured. Go screw yourself, councilman. The idea that he's like, just let the kids just rob and loot. We're almost done the issue, and this is what we have to talk about. This is nonsense. Hardly anything close to any sort of superhero comic, it is bullcrap. But you end up then like, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at my Night Thrasher outfit and then wonder how this kid got my moves. And that's all it is he gets in his Night Thrasher outfit, goes down to the subway, sees these stupid kids and finds out, oh my God, you have Rage from the New Warriors. He's training them, but now he's called OG. Go screw yourself, is what I say. This book stinks, and I wanted to give it a chance. It's not a good superhero comic, and it's not a good comic. It's garbage. And this is the last time I will be reading anything of this series, and I will have an eye out for Mystery Man J. Period. I think I'm done.
Mm-hmm. He's on your list.
You have a chance. Night Thrasher, not a big character, and you have a chance to bring him back. You didn't do anything. You seem to mention things from before, but not explain them, and then just have them walking around, kids looting. Oh my God, the kids aren't bad. Oh,
this is, you're going back to your point earlier, this is totally written like a TV show or something like that. But unfortunately, it's not. It's a comic, and it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It's really bad. I still don't know what these characters are. And at the end, it might be that I'm a dummy, but I feel like a dummy because I gave it a chance, and I'm done. I am done. That's it. I'm giving it a 4. What would you give it?
5. I mean, it's low, yeah.
Once he gets on the Night Thrasher costume, the art suddenly becomes interesting, and the issue seems to picks it up then. But why did you waste?
But I don't even know what does Night Thrasher do? He hits you with these billy clubs, or what does he? I don't even know what his thing is.
He bores the crap out of you. Is what he does. He stands around. He's a sad sack. He just the idea that your hero shows up and acts like a complete ass for half of the issue. Though I don't know why or what, but he acts like an ass. And he gets the crap kicked out of him, too.
And why is he not using those sticks to beat the guy up? Where are those sticks? What's going on here? No, I'm 4.
Yeah, this stinks.
Weird science
is the revolution.